I thought surviving him was the hardest part, until I realized surviving his world might be even harder, and that I was starting to care. The next morning I woke to silence again, but this time it didn't feel empty. It felt deliberate. Alexander's presence had seeped into the house in ways I couldn't yet name, and it weighed on me differently. Not fear this time. Curiosity. Unease. And strangely, a small spark of something I wasn't ready to admit. I dressed slowly, running my hands over my clothes, feeling like a visitor in my own life. When I reached the study, he was already there, reading something on his tablet, expression unreadable. But when he looked up and saw me for the first time, there was something in his eyes beyond calculation. Recognition. Like he noticed more than my presence. "Sit," he said without explanation. I obeyed, even though I bristled at being ordered. He didn't ask why I obeyed. That was the point. He didn't need me to explain. He didn't wait for compliance. He expected it. "There's been movement," he said quietly. "I don't know who yet, but someone followed you last night." My heart skipped. Followed me? How? Cameras. Observers. "Someone wants to make sure you're visible," he said. The way he said it, matter-of-fact, calm, controlled, made the threat worse than any shouting or violence ever could. I swallowed hard. "So, I'm still part of this, even when I don't want to be." "Yes." His tone softened ever so slightly. "You can't leave now." "Not safely." I looked down at my hands. The weight of it settled differently than the first day. This wasn't just about survival anymore. I was trapped in his world, and he was the only one who could keep me alive. And for the first time I realized how much that scared me, and how much it strangely reassured me. We spent the morning in silence, occasionally exchanging words, mostly about logistics and threats. But there were moments, tiny ones, that broke through the walls he built around himself. When I pointed out a security blind spot, he didn't dismiss me. He listened. And when he explained why he didn't use certain cameras, I saw the reasoning behind his control, and something in me softened. By noon, the tension had shifted slightly. I wasn't just cautious. I was aware of him. Aware of the subtle ways he moved, the tilt of his jaw when he considered something carefully, the way his eyes could pierce without raising his voice. And, terrifyingly, aware that my heart raced when he glanced at me. That afternoon, the first serious threat appeared. A black SUV lingered outside the property longer than it should have. Alexander noticed it instantly. His jaw tightened. "They're testing us," he muttered, more to himself than to me. "To see if you're a liability." I froze. "A liability?" He turned to me, eyes flashing with something unspoken. "If you weren't here, they wouldn't know to come." I felt the weight of responsibility sink into me. My decision to save him, my mistake of trusting my instincts, had consequences I still didn't fully understand. I nodded silently. The SUV didn't move. Minutes passed, each one stretching. Alexander's hand brushed against mine as he reached for a communication device. I froze. The contact was brief, so brief I could have imagined it, but I didn't. My stomach fluttered in a way I hadn't expected. Later, when the threat had receded, he sat across from me, studying me with a new intensity. "You were brave today," he said softly. "Not many would stay." I wanted to downplay it. "I didn't have a choice," I said. "You always have a choice," he replied. "But you chose to act anyway. That says a lot about you." I looked at him, and for the first time I saw the man beneath the armor. Not just the alpha, the controlled, the dangerous, but someone who noticed me. Who respected what I had done. My chest tightened in a way I wasn't ready to admit. That evening he invited me into the main lounge, insisting we eat together. I hesitated, knowing that any proximity was a choice that carried risk. Emotionally, physically. But I agreed. Dinner was quiet at first. Conversation cautious. But there were small moments where laughter almost slipped. When I mispronounced a word or when he revealed a trivial frustration about his day. The ice broke slowly. Afterward, he stood and moved closer to the windows. I followed instinctively. He didn't speak at first. He just watched the city, the sun dipping below the horizon. "You're different from everyone else I've met," he said finally. I hope that's good," I replied carefully. "It's dangerous," he said not unkindly. "For you and for me." I swallowed. "Why me?" He didn't answer immediately. Instead he reached out, lightly touching my arm. Not commanding, not casual. A deliberate touch that held weight. My pulse spiked. Because you make me consider things I've never considered before, he said finally. Because you see me, not the mask I wear. My chest tightened. I didn't know what to say. Words failed me. And in that silence, something shifted between us. Not love. Not trust fully. But something that felt like the first thread of connection, fragile and frightening. Later, when I prepared for bed, I felt a presence behind me. He didn't enter. He didn't speak. But I knew he was watching, protective, alert. I wasn't alone. For the first time, the fear that had dominated my days softened just slightly. And then the subtle reminder of danger returned. A text on a secured device he had left on the table. A single line, "They know she's here." My stomach dropped. The threat wasn't gone. The menacing figures, the poison, the shadows of his world, they were still out there watching. Testing. Waiting. But now I wasn't facing it alone. He was here. And something inside me, quiet and fragile, realized that maybe I could endure this. Maybe I could survive it. And, terrifyingly, maybe I was beginning to trust him. And maybe, just maybe, I wanted to.